reading Romans today, God showed me something in his word that is profound, yet it's just there, and yet it's so easy to see, but yet my mind was not, I didn't see it until now. It's there. It's just plain as can be. It's in the plain wording when you understand the different words for love in Greek. But we quote this verse all the time. I mean, it's one of the most quoted verses in the entire Bible, Romans 8:28. For all things shall work to the good of those that love the Lord and are the called according to his purpose. One of the most quoted verses in the Bible. Wow. But what God showed me is the word used for love, that we're to love the Lord, is that agapeo, the unconditional love. So that sparks the words of this song. Will you still love him? Will you still love him, though everything seems to fall apart? Will you still love him, even though you've heard all the others say depart? Will you still love him, even if you don't have fortune or fame? Will you still love him? Will you proclaim his name? Will you still love him? Do you love him with all of your heart? Will you still love him, even though the whole world fall away? Will you still love him the way he loves you? Will you still love him? Will you still choose to? Will you still love him, though the waves do roar? Will you still love him, though the world's turned upside down? Will you still love him, even though everyone around you's wearing a frown? Will you still love him with all of your heart? My friend, we're in the last hours before he returns with great power. My friend, we're in the last hours before his return. Will you still love him, though everything seems to fall apart? Will you still love him? Do you understand the way? Will you still love him, though everything night and day says to turn away? Will you still love him with all of your heart? Will you still love him, though he appears no longer to bless the way he used to? Will you still love him, to whom we have to do? Will you still love him? Is he the first and the last? Will you still love him? Will your faith last? Will you still love him the way you used to do? Will you still love him with all that is you? Will you still love him, though he appears to withhold his hand? Will you still love him? Do you understand in whom you stand? Will you still love him, though he appears to have withdrawn? Will you still love him, because he has not changed? Will you still love him just because of who he is? Will you still love him because of what he's already done? The battle's already won. Will you still love him? The war's almost over, my friend. Will you still love him? Will he be your intimate friend? Do you still love him, though he appears to have withdrawn from you? Will you still love him of whom our soul has to do? Will you still love him though the crops don't yield what they used to? Will you still love him though you don't even have a way out? Will you understand he's coming with a shout? Will you still love him the way you used to do? Do you still love him? Do you still choose to? Do you still love him? Do you still love him? Do you still choose to?